All right, take one. Audio 193. You ready, Lewis?
Yeah, I'm ready. All right, so first, just want to kind of introduce yourself, how long you've been in the whole car industry, and you can go from there.
My name is Sam Saunders. Been at my dealership, Jeff Gordon, for over 14 years now. So I've been a used car salesperson for about 14 years now.
Yeah, it'd be like, it's Sam Sanders, used car salesman, currently at Jeff Gordon, been in the car industry 15 years.
Yep.
So yeah, so try to say.
My name is Sam Saunders. I've been
Yeah, you tell me. We just talk. We just talking the same way. You know, don't worry about the camera. We just talk. We having a conversation.
Yeah, I got
so
you.
just say you'll be like, yo, you know. Just say, you know.
Yeah, my name's Sam. I've been in Jeff Gordon for about 14 years in the car business here in Wilmington.
Okay. And you don't have to say here in Wilmington either. Yeah, but that's cool. So let's do it. Let's do it one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Just to have it. Say it one more time for me.
Yep. My name's Sam Saunders. I've been in the car business over 14 years at Jeff Gordon Chevrolet.
Okay. All right. So now let's see. So how important, like trying to think what I want to ask you first. So yeah, tell like when someone like is getting out of high school, your experience. What's some of the first cars that kids out of high school are looking at?
I would say a lot of it is just depending on their budget. You know, most kids out of high school don't got the buying power to just buy whatever they want to buy. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, being in sales. I mean, a lot of people, they've been coming in there with an idea what they want, and we kind of got to show them what they can do or what works for them. So a lot of kids out of high school, I mean, they're just looking for transportation. I would say they're not as picky as someone that's been at their career for a while and got the ability to buy whatever they want to buy or make choices.
They just kind of get the coolest thing they can within their budget.
I mean, it'd be like price range, economical vehicles. One that pops into my head is the Chevy Cruze. You know, that used to be the Chevy Cavalier or the Chevy Cobalt. I mean, it's a good entry-level four-door sedan, fits 5 people, that's good on gas. You know, those class of vehicles, generally what you find from a high school or coming out of high school or somebody going into college. A lot of times it's parents buying their kids a car. Mm-hmm. A lot of people like Hondas, you know, but then they find that the Honda or the foreign model car in their price range is much older and has too many miles on it for what they're trying to accomplish, you know, for example.
So like, in your opinion, like I remember I sent you the lyric from Kanye West.
Yeah.
And I guess you've probably been in the car industry long enough to witness this. Like, do you feel like after he said, "This is the fast life, we on a crash course," what do you think I rap for? To push a fucking RAV4, but so something like that. When he's pretty much dissing a RAV4, do you feel like that makes a car uncool, where somebody would not get like a RAV4?
What I would say is that it's not going to have any effect on the RAV4 customer. You know, I mean, the person that is going to buy a RAV4 didn't hear that verse. You know what I mean? A RAV4 customer isn't listening to Kanye West. So maybe somebody listening to Kanye West, I mean, if I pull up a few vehicles for you and one of them is a RAV4, you may not pick that one. You know what I mean? Because you have that stigma in your mind that it's not cool to Kanye West. But I wouldn't say that it has any effect on Toyota and their sales or the popularity of a Toyota RAV4. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So would you say like seeing something like, say like a 4Runner or something would that increase? Like, have you noticed that someone might be more interested in a vehicle, like maybe like okay, we were talking about this earlier, so we can do the chicken or the egg, like a Camaro, or Camaros or something that's obtainable. It's not crazy, but still kind of cool. So would you say something like that? Is it cool because it's already cool, or is it cool because like rap talk about it?
Yeah, and yeah, that's what I was getting at. As the vehicles already have a following. You know, they already have a. I mean, they're in the streets. You see them. The people that you know got them, so you're attracted to them. And that's what would make a rapper rap about them or put it in their music. But yeah, it is like a circle. You know what I mean? So you're gonna see it because it's popular and people like them, and you're gonna talk about it, rap about it. And maybe somebody that didn't maybe see it, they hear about it, and now they're looking for it. And a lot of times, you may hear about something and not even notice. You may have been seeing it, but not notice it until someone mentioned it to you. You know what I mean? Like there's probably people who don't even know what a RAV4 is, but they heard that verse and now they notice it and may or may not like it or not, but they at least are aware of it. You know, where they may have never even been aware of it. And
so have you in the 14 years like noticed a spike of any kind of sales, just kind of not necessarily hip hop, but just anything that just kind of made something like when I guess like Bumblebee.
I was just thinking of that, the Camaros and Transformers. That was a big deal. You know, everybody wanted one, and then people came in. There's grandmas that came in and bought a yellow Camaro because they grandkids wanted them too. You know what I mean? So those things do happen, but that's all.
When you say those things, kind of say what those things are.
We're like marketing, like they're marketing it. They marketed it that way, you know, so, to try to influence sales on it, I guess. I was talking to you earlier, but I mean, a lot of these vehicles are in movies. You know, the Chevy Suburban has a star on the Walk of Fame because it's been starred in so many movies, and I mean, anything that you see on TV that has someone of importance, like a president or an official, they're going to be riding in a fleet of black Suburbans or Tahoes or something to that effect. You know, the movie industry influences as well as music. You know, but it may be a little more because you can see it. You know what I mean? You see them on the screen. You know, versus hearing about it. Hearing about it, you kind of got to go look for it. You know, you hear about a car and you may not have seen or been aware of it. You may search for it or run into it, or
yeah,
you know, I mean, go and see what it's about, see what it's all about.
Yeah. So speaking of hearing, talk about like I remember you saying like you heard about your experience with like hearing about MPV on Wu-Tang,
Yeah,
and not seeing it. So tell your
I mean, I heard about an MPV before I even knew what it was. From a Wu-Tang song, you know. I didn't even know it was a Mazda, you know, at the time. But in my mind, I imagined it was something like amazing. You know, I was like, yeah, I'd like to be rolling in MPVs, making 40 G's a week, something like that. But now that I don't know, 20, 30 years later, whatever the case, I see an MPV and I'm like, this is what they was rapping about? Like, what is this? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you look at it like a soccer mom van now. Nobody would pay it no mind, you know what I mean? But when they first came out, like, you got to think, I mean, it's a brand new vehicle, you know, just the fact that it was new and it was probably, or it maybe not even been new, but it was accessible to them, you know, so that's what they was rolling in. I mean, it just so happened to be what they had access to, you know what I mean? And because they put it in the song, it probably did open up a lot of people's eyes to it that would have never even paid it any mind or even knew what it was, you know.
Okay. Why do you? So you pretty much worked with GM most of your career. Why do you think Chevy particular has kind of remained so relevant over the years.
And I would say main thing is just it has.
I think Chevy remain relevant, you know, because remember, I'm not like they're not gonna hear me, so they're just gonna hear you. So you're like, I think Chevy or whatever.
Yes, I say Chevy has remained relevant because it has been around a very long time. You know, I mean, it's just a vehicle that's been around so long and been in people's families, generation after generation. It kind of grows on you, I guess, and that's why there's Ford people or Chevy people or you know, people that represent their makes and models, probably because that's what they grew up with. I am probably biased because yeah, I do work in a Chevy store and I like the Chevy product or the General Motors product, and I always say to a lot of people that I mean you don't see someone taking a 20, 30-year-old motor out of a Toyota and putting it in something else or rebuilding it. But they do that with Chevys all the time. They'll take an old school motor or take a newer motor, put it in an old school, because they have been very strong cars, you know, and that's I would say the biggest selling point of them is that it is the cost to keep them. You know, I mean, it doesn't cost much to keep a GM product because they can be worked on by a lot of people. Like, even if the worst case scenario, the motor transmission blew up, every day people will take them out and put them back in. You know what I mean? So, a lot of that has to do with the reliability of them and you know, which makes them popular. You know, people they've been around very long. You know, I don't know anybody that's seen a 60s or 70s model foreign car that's still like you'd be comfortable riding in for a long period of time, you know. But if someone pulled up a 60s model Chevy Impala, you're not gonna really. I mean, you'll jump in it and take a ride. You know what I mean? You're gonna immediately know if it's in good shape or not. I mean, either it's gonna be standing tall or it ain't. You know, so. But even the ones that ain't standing tall, you see somebody take a car that's been just a pile of rust sitting in a garage somewhere or in a barn, and they'll take it and rebuild it and bring it back to new, and that's done all the time. You know, I'd say those things are what makes a car good. You know, and being a good car is gonna like influence the people that you know. I mean, are rapping about them or driving them every day or that want them. You know, you're gonna want a Chevy because your dad drove a Chevy truck his whole life, so you ain't gonna drive nothing else. Or, you know what I mean? You've seen him and his experience with it over the years, and but vice versa. You can buy a vehicle and immediately have nothing but problems with it, and it leave a bad taste in your mouth forever, and you never. That's what it is. There's people that say, I don't like Chevys or I don't like American cars because they feel like they're junk. But a lot of that is just in people's mind. Every make and model has a service department, and they all got to get fixed. They all break. They're made by human beings, so ain't none of them gonna last forever. And I mean, it's all in what you do to them, and take care how you take care of them. Yeah, take care of them. Yeah, get the extended warranty, and you ain't gotta worry.
So here, tell one more time, just for maybe a different take or to edit it in a different way. Talk about that like how Chevy's got the Walk of Fame. Just kind of tell that story again.
Yeah. So and I just recently learned this, but Chevy Suburban, it has starred in a number of movies over the years, like so many movies that they gave it a star on the Walk of Fame, like wherever, I don't know where that is, Hollywood, I'm guessing. I ain't never been there, but I just learned that in a training class they gave me. But it was interesting. I didn't know that, and then thinking about it, it kind of dawned on me that they're in everything. Any movie you see or anything. That's what I was getting at. Anything of anyone of importance. I mean, that's what they're driving in. They're driving in Chevy products, GM products, full-size trucks and SUVs, and
from the president.
Yeah, presidential officials. You can always picture like a convoy of black Suburbans with the FBI and things of that nature, like any kind of agency. That's generally their go-to vehicle, and a lot of that has to do with just them being you can't really replace them. If you use them for what they're used for, transporting passengers and being able to do truck things and towing and yeah, I mean,
people.
you can transport 7, 8 passengers, and there's not a lot of replacements for them. You know, once you get using one, I've had customers that, for example, bought a Suburban. I mean, you know how crazy it is in Wilmington with traffic and accidents, and I've had customers literally roll Suburbans over, yeah, I mean, due to an accident, and immediately come back in and buy one because they know they wouldn't have been around if it wasn't for that vehicle. And I mean, they're exceptionally safe. And that's a whole nother. So I feel like I'm selling you a truck, but yeah, they
Sell
are.
it. Sell it.
Yeah, but they are like anyone that's owned one.
Tell them to come see you.
Yeah. Anyone that's owned one or had any experience using them for what they're used for. Yeah, you're not gonna compromise with anything else. You know, you're not gonna. I have a 2000 model Tahoe that I've been driving since '06. You know what I mean? And it does me fine. It does what I need for when I need truck and SUV things. It does great. It isn't a brand new one, but I mean, it does the same truck things that a new one would do. You know, I can tow and I can go 4-wheel drive in, and I mean, when something breaks on it, it's nothing to fix. I put a transmission in it before, and I mean, anything that it needs, it ends up getting. You know, but with those little fixes, I mean, it's got, another hundreds of thousands of miles of life left on it.
What's the difference between a Tahoe and a Suburban?
Just the length. So they're identical inside and out. The only difference is the space behind the third row seat. So with a Tahoe, the back gate comes down right on that third row seat. So if you use 7 passengers, if you use all 3 of them rows, you're not going to have much room for cargo. Otherwise, with a Tahoe, you got to fold the seats down or take them out to get that cargo space. Now, people that got families, especially like kids playing sports, you got passengers full in the vehicle. You still have cargo space behind that third row in a Suburban, where you got room to load cargo up. So a lot of people, they look at the Suburban like it's too long, like they don't want to drive it. It's too long, but so they opt for the Tahoe. But there's some people that, if they use that third row, they need that cargo space also, so they have to have the Suburban. Really, be honest with you, if anyone that hasn't driven one, they're exceptionally drivable. They have excellent turning radiuses. And they're very maneuverable. People look at them like they're so big, I can never drive them. But once you get inside of it and get to driving it, you'll see, it's simple to maneuver to get into parking spots. There's nothing to it, anybody that can drive, they ain't no different than driving a car as far as looking in your mirrors and checking what's around you.
Okay. So let's go ahead and let's tell your Maserati Fox story.
All right, so I met a rapper named Maserati Fox. He was associated with G Unit. So somehow he had a connection to the Carolinas. He made his way to Wilmington. His goal was to purchase a conversion van. So a conversion van is like a high top van. It can be like equipped inside with luxury seating and TV screens and things of that nature. You can equip it any way you want, really. But that's what his goal was. He wanted a conversion van because that's what 50 Cent drives in. That's what he was saying. So, and that makes sense. It's an excellent vehicle to ride around in and be comfortable, be driven in basically, and be comfortable. But they are unique. They are not easy to find. A lot of times you gotta buy one brand new and have it built a certain way. So, but they were looking for conversion van. They come to Wilmington. They visited another dealership in town and basically weren't treated very well. The management there was clowning them on their, like, the clothes they were wearing, and they had chains on and things like that. So they kind of didn't treat them well. And then they found their way to our dealership, Jeff Gordon, where we know how to treat people very well. So we greeted them, welcomed them with open arms, made them feel good about doing business with us. And in a 2-day period, his entourage ended up buying 5 vehicles from me between 2 days. And they were going to use them for promotional purposes or whatever for G-Unit. But it was a great time.
Yeah, you could say like they're gonna put wraps on it.
Yeah, they're going to wrap them with G-Unit promotion for promotional purposes or whatever the case. But let me see if I remember this right. On day one, and now mind you, they wanted a conversion van. We ain't have a conversion van, but we're sitting out there talking on the lot, and he sees this would have been in like around '07, '08 maybe, because the Tahoe body style just changed. So there was a new body style Tahoe, which was the '07 model year. We had one on the used car lot, and he sees it on the lot. He says, "Hey man, what about this Tahoe here?" And I'm like, "Oh man, that's a new body style. That thing is probably like I don't know what it was back then, but I said that thing's probably like $40,000. I don't know." We walk up to it, it was like 33. I'm like, "Oh man, it's only 33." He's like, "Yo, we want this. I'm like, and I'm kind of new, so I'm like, "Huh?" I run into the building. I'm like, "Hey man, they want the Tahoe." "All right, bring them in and get the information." I sit them down, basically find out that they can buy, and show them the Tahoe. They say yes, everything's great. So we're getting it all done. He sees up front, he sees a baby Hummer, like H3, I think it is, the smaller Hummer. The smaller one. And they're looking at the sticker. The sticker was like 20, it was in the 20s. But so this is funny too, because the bigger guy in the group, which it was like security, he started talking like, "Hey man, if we can get this for like 25, we'll take it right now." And then Maserati's like, "Yo man, I'm spending this money." Like shut him down. "Yo, we can get it for 25. I'll buy it right now." I was like, "Okay." So I ran in there. I said, "Yo man, he wants the Hummer too." They do what they do, show me the numbers, I give them to them, they're like, "Yep, we'll take it." So wow, it was great. I saw 2 cars in one day. We had a Corvette basically in the showroom. He wanted the Corvette. We said, "Man, it's $50,000. We don't know if we can get the Corvette done, but now it's getting late in the day. We send them home for the day. We got to see him tomorrow to kind of finish up everything." I'm sorry. I got to answer this.
Okay.
Hey, baby. And I'm basically being interviewed about cars. I'm on Wrightsville Avenue. Yeah, I'm on Wrightsville Avenue getting interviewed about the car business. It's just for a car thing. I shouldn't be much longer.
Other things going on.
All right, so just FYI, my time is dwindling.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we're wrapping up.
all right, well, I'll pick up where I left off. Yep, I'll pick up where I left off. Yep. So we got to get him back in the next day to finish up everything. And meanwhile, behind the scenes, we had been working on the Corvette deal the whole time, just trying to get it done. They come back the next day. They need a couple more vehicles. They see a black, I think it was a GMC Sierra truck and a black Chevy Avalanche. Yep, we write the numbers up for those. They take them. Yep, we want them. Between all of this, we ended up getting the Corvette approved. So now we're like, "Oh man, good news. We got the Corvette done too." So everybody's like, yeah, high-fiving and having a good old time. And long story short, they bought 5 vehicles from me over the course of 2 days. And to show our thanks, we went to the mall here in town and bought a bunch of like Jeff Gordon paraphernalia, racing jackets, and stuff to kind of give our thanks for them buying those vehicles. But it was neat to meet somebody that's in the music industry and have a good time with them, over the course of 2 days. It was a good weekend for a car salesperson.
So, because I might use this to cut in to introduce what you're saying. Could you say like The only time I've sold like meet somebody in the music industry a car, just be like, and then be like with Maserati Fox and the G unit.
Yeah.
So just like we
Yeah.
say that.
Yep. I've only one time met somebody in the music industry. Maserati Fox. He is associated with G Unit. He made his way to Wilmington and ended up buying some vehicles.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna ask you one more thing, and then I'll let you go. Because this was you were kind of touching this before, but like, how to like in the and I think I sent this to you. So yeah, in the '90s and the 2000s, the Blazer was kind of a staple. Why or why not do you feel like the Blazer will be popular? 'Cause you were kind of saying how it's not
Yeah.
because it's a
Well,
crossover.
okay. So
So be like, yeah, and then, so like say it like, I know, kind of give your spin on
yes,
that.
yes.
Yeah.
So the new Chevy Blazer just came out with a new body style, and it is going to be popular. I mean, it's going to have its people that it's going to work for. Now, but for people that's been in the car business a long time, or even known vehicles for a while and are familiar with the older Blazer, it is totally different. So the newer Blazer is built more how all these SUVs are being built is what they call crossover SUVs. So it's not necessarily made for four-wheel drive or off-road purposes. There's all-wheel drive for like snow and wet weather, slippery conditions. But it is, in fact, I mean, it's just a larger size of the Equinox, which is their mid-size SUV. But none of them are really made for too much towing capacity, or especially four-wheel drive is the big thing. I mean, they could have made the Blazer kind of like a truck, like the Colorado is a smaller truck. They could have made the Blazer like that, but probably a lot of it has to do with fuel economy. Everybody wants everything much better on fuel, and the market for the Blazer is probably more where it's snowy, for the all-wheel drive capability of it, to be a kind of more of a manlier Equinox, just something that's a little more aggressive and sporty styling in the Equinox.
Do you have any feelings saying about like the older Blazer itself? Any?
Yeah, I prefer that style of SUV. As far as the SUV goes, I would prefer how they used to make them, as far as being more like
Used to say what it is, just so they have it on the camera.
the
When you like say
how the Chevy Blazer used to be, like back in the '90s, where it was more of a truck, a four-wheel drive, ability to go off-road or on the beach. It probably wasn't that model probably wasn't known for much towing capacity with the V6 or whatever the case, but it still had four-wheel drive, and that's the biggest comparison between a crossover and a true SUV. Is an SUV used to be rear-wheel drive for towing, with the ability to have four-wheel drive. The newer ones are crossovers, where they're made more like cars. They start off front-wheel drive like a car would be, with the ability to have all-wheel drive for a little more traction control. But yeah, that's the biggest difference between the newer models and the older ones. But yeah, I'd like when I think of an SUV, I want something a little more truck-like. But the society is gearing more towards SUVs that are more like cars. They're actually going to delete a lot of cars here coming up, and it's going to be nothing but SUVs. Like there's going to be no more Impalas or no more. I don't know which. A lot of them sedans are getting deleted. I don't know exactly which ones, but the Impalas, the Cruises, the Malibus, all those days are being numbered, and they're coming out with more SUVs to take their place.
Yeah, 'cause I almost forgot I was going to ask you about the Impala. Is the Impala already gone?
The last year, this was the last year. Like you can get a new Impala for maybe at least 2019, maybe 2020, but not anything, not more than that. I think 2020 probably is the last year model for them, if that. But it ain't gonna be no more after that. There ain't gonna be no 2021 Impala. Definitely not.
Yeah. Anything that I might have not touched on that you want to say that?
I would, okay, when you first kind of told me about this, I thought about myself and the first song that I ever heard that made me think about a song, or think about a car, I mean. The first song that I ever heard that made me think about wanting a car was "Let Me Ride" by Dr. Dre, and he was like rolling in my 6.4, and like I wanted an old school Chevy with hydraulics on it ever since. You know what I mean? But so what you're getting on, yeah, there does hold some weight. But with that being said, we're talking about a '64 Chevrolet Impala. Now this is maybe mid to early '90s, 30 years later, that I'm now being introduced to this vehicle. But it's already been doing something for 30 years. You know, I mean, people have already been buying them, fixing them, putting rims on them, doing this and that to them. And so it was already a thing, you know. Now I see Dr. Dre rap about it, and now I'm aware of it. I'm from upstate New York. Nobody was putting hydraulics on old school Chevy, you know what I mean, and in upstate New York, you know. So when I seen that, it was like, that was cool to me, you know what I mean. And I wanted one ever since. You know, I got close. I got a little early '90s Broham that I'm working on, but yeah, that's what I wanted ever since, you know what I mean. And yeah, I mean that's the one song that rung a bell in my mind that had me looking for that vehicle, you know, had me looking for a car that Let Me Ride by Dr. Dre.
Nice. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, man, I appreciate
one more
it.
time, say your name and where you're from and your introduction one more time.
Yep. My name's Sam Saunders. I'm originally from upstate New York, but I'm here in Wilmington, North Carolina now. I've been in the car business for over 14 years at the same dealership here in Wilmington, Jeff Gordon Chevrolet. So ask for Sam if you need anything.
Come by a car. Yeah. All right, word. And Sarah's gonna get some information from you and get your signature, the release. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem, man. My
Jay's
pleasure.
gonna get your microphone. Get anything you want. If you gotta get out here.
Yeah, I'm good. I gotta get moving.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. You can just, I'm gonna tuck it, clip it, and you can just pull it back through.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you.
That was good. That was cool. Good. Got some good stuff. Like I'm listening to you, thinking about some of the people I'm going to talk to, and I'm piecing it together.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate you finding me, man.
Yeah. How long have you known Brian?
Just through Jeff Gordon. So whenever we started there, that's
Yeah.
how I met him through the dealership.
Okay.
I mean, I've been for 15 years, but yeah, that's how I met him.
Okay. That's what's up.